Hi, OJ. I am sure you are familiar with the phrase, "Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned." Yes, I'm usually on the other side of the end of this phrase, listening to people confess. But now, it's my turn. This confession has been a weight on my soul for over 2 decades. I've kept it buried, not because I wanted to, but because I feared what would happen to me and the person involved if I spoke of it. But meeting you and your people has given me the courage to finally unburden myself. You know me as a senior Catholic priest, as a man of faith, a guide to many, but I carry a darkness, a secret that has tormented me for 22 years, maybe 23 years. The choices I made took lives, OJ, and the guilt has never left me. Hmm. When I joined a seminary, my devotion was unwavering. My life was centered on worship, service, and spreading of the word of God. I took my vows with my whole heart, believing I was ready for the life of sacrifice. But life has a way of testing even the strongest convictions. That's why, OJ, I no longer judge. I've learned that until you've walked in the man's shoe, you don't know what burdens he carries. Years into my ministry, I met a woman, Monica. She was beautiful, kind, and deeply rooted in her faith. We met at church one day after service, just as I was leaving the premises. Our conversations were innocent at first, but something about her drew me in. She was different, OJ. Before I knew it, what started as a friendship turned into something much deeper, something forbidden. I knew it was wrong, yet I couldn't stop myself. She made me feel something I'd spent years suppressing. The desire, the connection. It was stronger than my vows. And so, in the shadows, we stole moments together. What began as an emotional bond soon became physical. I was torn between my devotion to God and my love for her. Then, OJ, everything changed. One evening, she came to me with news that turned my world around. She was pregnant. Fear gripped me like a thief. The thought of scandal, the disgrace, the irreversible consequences, it was too much. My mind raced. Not towards solution, but towards escape. Instead of standing by her, instead of embracing the responsibility of what we had done, I did the worst thing imaginable. I denied the child. I looked her in the eyes and told her the baby wasn't mine. After that, she disappeared from church. Others said they still saw her around, but she was never there on Sundays. And every time I stood at the altar preaching about love, forgiveness, and duty, I felt like a fraud. The weight of my secret suffocated me. I saw families bring their children to church, watched fathers embrace their sons, and I knew I had abandoned my own. Time passed, but the regrets never did. Then one evening, the call came. A mutual friend, unaware of my history with Monica, called to tell me that she was gone, that she had taken her own life. OJ, I still remember the way my knees buckled, the way my breath caught in my throat, the way I gripped the altar, hoping for something, anything to hold me up. She was dead, and I was the reason. It's at this point that I ask that you subscribe to the channel, share a comment, or click on the like button, as that is the only way you encourage me to bring you more confessions and more stories. So please, subscribe. Let's go. They said she had fallen into depression, that she had struggled with carrying the child alone, abandoned by the man she had trusted, that the shame had crushed her. I had crushed her, OJ. I cried like a baby that night, OJ. I was supposed to lead people to salvation, yet I had destroyed a life. And not just one, because what happened to the child, my child? Rumors swirled. Some said she gave birth before she died, that she had left the baby in someone's care. But who? Where? OJ, I didn't know. And I had no right to ask. Years passed. I buried the pain, convinced myself it was too late to amend things. Until one day, I learned the truth. Monica had a son, my son, and he was alive. OJ, when I finally learned about him, it wasn't the joyous revelation it should have been, because the boy I had abandoned had grown up in darkness. He was placed in a foster care, drifting from one home to another, never knowing the warmth of a stable family. As he grew older, he turned to the streets for belonging. He got involved in petty thefts, then gangs, then drugs. The boy who should have known love only found survival. He was arrested multiple times, in and out of cells. The streets became his home, crime his language. Each time he was released, he promised himself it was the last. But the streets don't let go that easily. And I watched from the sidelines, a father in secrets, too much of a coward to step in. The realization hit me like a tidal wave. My selfishness had not only taken Monica's life, but had also stolen my son's future. I had to do something. OJ, I won't lie to you. I was terrified. How could I show my face to him now? How could I ask for forgiveness when I had given him nothing? But I knew one thing: I had to try. With the help of a woman who knew my story, one who had become a mother figure to him, I reached out. Slowly, carefully, I began to rebuild what I had destroyed. I don't tell you this for pity, OJ. I don't seek forgiveness, not from you, not from anyone. I tell you this because running from responsibility only leads to distraction. Because there are men and women out there making the same mistakes I made, thinking they can walk away and time will erase the consequences. It doesn't. To anyone who hears this, if you are standing at a crossroad, if you have the chance to do right, do it. Face the truth before it becomes a nightmare you can't wake up from. Life is too precious to live in fear and secrecy. OJ, thank you for listening. I hope my story helps someone before it's too late. And before it's too late, watch this confession and be careful where you throw away the sanitary parts.